Hey everybody, welcome to Enliven Wellness. My name is Tessa Gurley and I am super excited to be here and I'm feeling awesome. So, how can raw carnivore help you with low stomach acid? Stay tuned and I'll let you know. First of all, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell button when you do, because that will notify you whenever I release a new video or whenever I go live. And thank you to all my subscribers and all of my beautiful family of Enliveners, and we're building this channel and building the hope. So always just so much love to you and all my one-on-ones, everybody out there. And also please like, comment, and subscribe. Share these videos. If you are a naughty boy or girl out there and you leave a mean comment, please don't do that. Let's keep this channel chill. I'm happy to have dialogues with y'all, but let's just keep it nice, okay? Really. All right, so first of all, hopefully you know the importance of stomach acid in the whole digestive process, not to mention in your whole overall health. In case you don't, here are a couple things. So, low stomach acid can contribute to parasites, leaky gut, SIBO, pancreatic enzyme insufficiency, gallbladder and liver issues, nutrient malabsorption, acidic blood, toxins in your blood. A lot of this can be linked back to low stomach acid, amongst other things, of course, as well, but we're talking about low stomach acid today. So why does this happen? All right. The digestive process, first and foremost, begins in your mouth. You gotta chew your food thoroughly if you want to digest your food properly. All right? But then the next in the chain of command is your belly. And if your stomach has low acid, if you have low stomach acid, then your body is not properly breaking down the food. Okay? So you start to chew your food, you start to break the food down, you pre-digest your food with digestive enzymes that are found in your saliva, and then that travels on down, and then it enters your stomach, where your stomach is responsible for breaking down the food and forming something called a bolus. Okay, a bolus. But your stomach and the stomach acid is meant to break down the food so that it can be absorbed properly by your intestines. So follow me. Then, if you have low stomach acid, you are not breaking down the food properly, nor do you have the necessary defenses against pathogens, bacteria, funguses, viruses, parasites. Okay, because your stomach is supposed to be at a pH of 1 to 3. Very, very acidic. And if you have, and part of the reason is so that it's one of the first lines of defense before it enters your intestines. It's like a protective barrier to like just obliterate any potential harmful substance that you've swallowed. So if you have low stomach acid, you're at risk of these things then going down into your intestines and getting absorbed into your bloodstream. Okay, so how else can this contribute to things like SIBO, leaky gut, like low stomach acid? How can this contribute to these other conditions? Well, nutrient malabsorption. Again, it gets down to poor stomach acid not being able to break down your food into the constituent parts that they need to be in order to be absorbed properly by your intestines. So the stomach acid, again, breaks down the food, creates a bolus. It then enters the small intestine where you are supposed to absorb certain nutrients. Okay, so your intestines are not meant to break down food. They are meant to absorb food so that they can become available to the body to use. Now, if they are too large and if they haven't been broken down properly, they irritate your gut lining. That causes leaky gut. And then when you have an irritated gut lining, then the food molecules can cross the intestinal barrier, and then they enter the body, and then the body goes, oh my God, invader, attack. It's basically like, like on a like in a war situation, for example, like they've got this like invader, right? Like this invader has now entered the body, and then the body goes, invader, attack! And then there you have food allergies, food intolerances, inflammation. You know, it's a major, low stomach acid is a major contributor of leaky gut. Also, how can this lead to toxic buildup in the blood? Well, it gets back to the improper absorption of nutrients and leaky gut, and these particles being released into the blood and then being seen as invaders. Hello, toxic blood. Plus, you know, if you have overgrowth of candida or parasites or, oh my gosh, you know, SIBO, then your body is inflamed, and then your blood becomes toxic, and then you get into a toxic load situation. All which can be linked back to low stomach acid. Now, nutrient malabsorption is a huge issue when it comes to low stomach acid, right? Because again, back to the basics, if your stomach acid is too low, it's not breaking down the food properly, then the intestines can't absorb those beautiful nutrients and then use them in your body the way that they need to. So you're not absorbing the nutrients from the food. You could be eating as healthy as you want, but if you're not absorbing it, then it's kind of like, it doesn't matter. You know, story of my life, by the way. I had horrible nutrient malabsorption. Bad news bears. Okay? So, and then I'll get into a couple of the symptoms of low stomach acid. Number one can be severe bloating, constant bloating. That could be a huge sign of low stomach acid. Farting after your meal, primarily about 30 minutes to an hour after your meal, because that's, again, you've got all this undigested food matter entering your intestines, and then then you fart it out, right? And that, again, story of my life. I used to fart constantly. Bad. Other signs and symptoms of low stomach acid, again, nutrient malabsorption, feeling really fatigued after meals, losing weight, gaining weight, leaky gut, food allergies, food intolerances, brain fog after you eat. Brain fog after you eat. Really, 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 that is a big one. So there's a whole ton of symptoms that you might be experiencing that could be linked back to low stomach acid. Of course, there can be other factors. This video, we're talking about low stomach acid, and these symptoms could indicate that you're suffering from low stomach acid. So now, I'm all about solutions. Guys, like, I'm all about solutions. So how can raw carnivore help with low stomach acid? Well, for one, did you know, and this might be a shock, that it was to me, totally, when I was doing research for this video, that vegetables decrease your stomach acid? In fact, I found an article on a nerdy health website called Healthline, which is like it's a very reputable medical website. And it said, quote, if you want to lower your stomach acid, eat vegetables. So let me preface this. I am not anti-veg. Okay, I'm not wearing like anti-vegetable t-shirts. I'm not like, vegetables are evil. That's not my premise. So please understand that. Like, you know, but we have a very warped view nowadays of what we're supposed to be eating because of the convenience of convenience stores, hence the name. All right, especially in the winter months, we're not equipped to be handling as much vegetable matter, especially for those of us living in like above 30 degrees latitude, longitude. Okay, those areas in particular, we're not supposed to be eating as much vegetable matter. And they've shown that your gut microbiome actually changes with the seasons. Pretty cool, the body's awesome. And your body's not naturally equipped to be able to handle this kind of matter in the winter months, which is where we are right now. But also, again, the vegetables lower your stomach acid. So hello, digestive nightmare. And your stomach needs to be very acidic to handle proteins. All right, so hello, digestive nightmare if you're eating proteins and vegetables, or even worse, proteins and fruits together. You know, like some schools of thought would say proteins and vegetables are okay, but in my experience and my experience with clients, that's not okay. and it contributes to a lot of digestive distress. And I'm like, okay, so this is why, because your stomach, the vegetables decrease stomach acidity, and then you need that stomach acid to be able to digest the proteins. So that's one issue. Now, how can raw carnivore in particular help with this condition? It's kind of like homeopathy. A lot of people say to me, I have low stomach acid, I can't do raw carnivore. And I say, no, the opposite. You have low stomach acid, therefore you need to try raw carnivore. Because you need to almost, if you guys don't know about the principles of homeopathy, it's basically treat like with like. It's kind of along the same lines as a vaccine, which I'm not getting into the political discussion about vaccines on this channel right now. Okay, so let that go. But it's like homeopathy. That's why I'm using that as an example, because I love homeopathy, and I think a lot of you out there do as well. Less controversial of a topic, but it's essentially like you treat like with like. So if you want to increase your stomach's acidity, you need to give it the foods that are going to cause it to create more stomach acid. Right? And so when you eat the protein, your stomach acid is going to drop. That's just what it does. Your stomach acid's pH is going to drop. Let me say it that way. So the stomach acidity is going to go up. The pH will drop when you eat protein. That's what you want to happen. When you eat vegetables, the stomach acidity decreases, the pH goes up, which is not good for stomach acid production. See what I mean? So, and then why raw? Okay, why raw? In my experience, and also what I've been studying, and I have a lot of videos coming out about this topic, when you do raw proteins overcooked, you preserve the protein structure of the protein, making it more easily digestible and assimilable in the body, because proteins are in particular shapes. They need to stay in those shapes, and cooking at high temperatures or at any temperature above 105 does what's called denaturing the protein, rendering it out of its biological shape so that it doesn't function properly in the body. Now again, there's different schools of thought with this, but I'm kind of in the camp that the raw and undenatured protein is much better. So also, when you eat the meat raw, you preserve so many more of the nutrients. And it's so much easier to digest. And I have client after client after client who has told me this very thing. That the raw proteins have allowed them to digest meat for the first time in years, have allowed them to have more energy. Poop on point, Jessica. Having great poop and bowel movements and like digestive heaven by using raw animal proteins. And you preserve the nutrients again, which is going to help you with healing your gut. It's going to help you with that nutrient malabsorption. It will help you absorb the nutrients that are necessary to actually produce the stomach acid, because you need certain nutrients to produce stomach acid. And those can come from raw animal proteins. They very much come from raw animal proteins. And if you're like, well, what about the micronutrients in there? Whole other video about that. You can get plenty of the micronutrients from raw animal proteins. It's very interesting. In fact, you can get vitamin C from certain organ meats as well. Very cool. So, all of that, let's wrap it all together. Low stomach acid can lead to a whole bunch of problems. A whole bunch of problems. And if you're suffering from low stomach acid, you know what I mean. The symptoms of low stomach acid are many, and they can be anywhere from bloating to depression to anxiety to fatigue to farting to diarrhea, constipation, leaky gut, food allergies, right? And why does raw carnivore help? Well, because it takes out the vegetable matter. Again, I'm not anti-veg. I've just experienced some of my greatest, most profound healing doing raw carnivore, period. And I've been watching it with person after person. Very cool. And I've had it's just been so cool to see this happen and to see this happen in my body. But when you take out the vegetables, there's a lot of different things that happen. One of them, again, another video, but one of the things is that it increases your stomach's acidity by taking out vegetable matter. Then you give your stomach the exact thing it needs to produce and increase stomach acid. Very, very cool. And then by doing raw, you preserve the nutrients. You make it easier to digest, easier to assimilate into the body, so that you can have just digestive bliss, less irritation in your gut, better production of stomach acid, and then your whole body will benefit, your whole body and mind. So if you have any questions, please comment or email me. Just a couple of different things, like with clients, when you're first getting started on raw carnivore and you just kind of want to like tap your toes into like seeing how this goes, what I suggest is the following. Separate your vegetable meals from your protein and fat meals and just notice how you feel after the meals. So try that first. Just give it a shot. I do this with clients all the time. And then you can start by undercooking your meat a little bit more every time, see how that goes. And of course I have to say this, you do this at your own risk, but raw food is everywhere, from steak tartare to sushi to Caesar dressing has raw eggs. So if you've eaten Caesar dressing, congratulations, you've eaten raw eggs. Just so you know. But yes, as always, if you'd like more coaching in this area or any more guidance on your own health journey, email me down below, or email me at the email down below. I keep saying email me down below and I'm like, God, it sounds so awkward. Hit me up at the email down below and say I'm ready, and we'll get you started with more tips and tricks on how to start this safely. If you're suffering from low stomach acid, please reach out. Like, I used to have to take 14 stomach acid pills per meal. Let me repeat that. 14 stomach acid pills per meal. It was a nightmare. And digestive enzymes and ox bile and all of this bullshit stuff that I had to take to just digest my food. And now I don't need anything. Nothing. Oh, I take a tablespoon and a half of apple cider vinegar. That's it. That's it. I don't take anything else. And I used to have this whole thing of pills to take my food. It's like freedom at last. And my poop is on par. And I feel so much energy. My body is healing. It's just incredible. So I hope that you found this video helpful. Again, I'm not anti-veg. It's just that raw carnivore has been a game changer. And I encourage you to give it a try for 30 days and just see how it goes. And you can try some of those tips and tricks, just separating those meals, undercooking your meat a little bit more every time. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Email me if you'd like some coaching. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.